we're looking at, are there changes in soil microbial communities under subsurface drip in tomato production? And we've now got systems where the drip's been buried in the ground. It's buried like 10 inches deep. It's in the ground permanently. We've got systems 10 years longer. So beds are 1.52 to 1.56, with some at 2 metres now. And yeah, the drip stays in there. So after tomatoes are grown, then the ground's cultivated, but only really on the shoulders because it can't disturb that like where the drip line is. So we've got some work's been done, and there's been some changes in soil sort of around the emitter. But what impact is that having? And we're also finding too with long-term subsurface drip that you get a couple of good years of processing tomatoes on new country, and then yeah, you move into sort of out into other crops and then back in, and the yields do decrease. So yeah, we had an honours student in 2014, and he was actually working here and doing a bit of work with Peter Fisher and looking at the physical and chemical conditions around the subsurface drip system. And he was finding there that there are changes at different distances from the emitter. So he was finding, I think it was sodium, calcium and potassium, I think, were moving, well, the concentrations were higher towards the shoulders. So with the change, and also too, the finer soil particles were kind of moving away from the emitter. So with that, you're getting changes in chemical and physical, so what's happening with the biological conditions around the emitter. And also too, looking at that, like with the changes in the soil physics and sodium, like, you know, what impact is that actually having on the growth of the tomatoes as well? So trying to look at the changes in microbial communities, not just in the soil, but also with the tomato roots. So yeah, something's happening there in the tomato roots that we don't understand, and you know, growers are always coming in going, oh look, what's this? And we send it off to Crop Health or New South Wales, and it comes back with Fusarium, Phytophthora, Pythium, and it's kind of like, I can tell the grower before they send the test off what it's going to tell them, and it really tells us nothing because they could all be secondary. So part of this work too would be looking at the DNA extraction to actually try to identify what is actually there. So the commercially available soil tests, I guess, don't really cut it as far as I'm concerned. They don't give you the detail, and looking at the DNA side of things will hopefully help build that picture as to exactly what do we have happening. So we'll look at picking some soils in adjacent, it might be on the same farm, adjacent blocks, and we've got, like, one grower has said previously, well, I can tell you that block there is going to do like 20 to 30 tonne a hectare less than the block on the other side of the fence, or on the same farm, different valve kind of thing. So we'll pick adjacent, try to make as much as we can consistent as far as soil, management systems of the same farmer, and then look at different positions too from the emitter, moving away and out. And then look at sampling a couple of times during the tomato season. So from when they plant right through until harvest. So we're still to finalise some of these details. So I guess open to discussion if you've got ideas. Okay.